The first two things I want to talk about, they're both Uber related. Um, there's been a couple different people talking about these, but I think this is worth talking about because it's more of a. I think some people just read this and thought, well, that's weird. What are they doing? And I think we're used to that because like Uber bought autonomous and what they do with it. They were like 396th out of 400 and how well they do autonomous. So they bought a company, but it's like, who cared? They were going to have VTOLs, but it became Uber helicopter and they only even had 2 of those. So it's like, who cares? All these are just stupid projects that they don't really care about. This Drizly thing is actually a little scarier than that. There's articles everywhere. I'm sure you guys have seen it. What has happened is that in 2020, about a month after stay-at-home orders, maybe like early May, Drizly began, and it was in March of 2021 that Uber bought them. And during that time, when Uber bought them, they bought them for $1.1 billion. That's a lot of money to acquire a business. But Drizly, I always tell you guys about these liquor deliveries. Make sure that you're tip certified. Make sure you look into it in your state. Don't trust these apps because they never tell you anything. We should be used to this. But Drizly, if you don't know the original model, I was even a little thrown because I didn't know this. The original model of Drizly was built more for here. How did they word it here? Because I liked that. So Drizly was always a bit of an odd match for Uber in that it didn't hire or contract its own delivery workers. Instead, Drizly provided back-end tech that let local liquor stores provide their own deliveries. So during the pandemic, nobody was allowed to go to liquor stores because you couldn't go anywhere. Even when they were allowed to be open, it was like 2 people in at a time. Everything was wrecked. We all know this. So what happened was Drizly saw that window and they said, hey, most of these places are just closed anyway. Why can't they just deliver them? So I think that a lot of owner-operator liquor stores, and if you guys aren't familiar with packaged liquor, a lot of times it is somebody owns it and they're there 6 days a week, and maybe 1 day a week there's another guy there. And they have one employee part-time kind of thing. But usually they run it themselves. It's usually kind of like just, this is my chill business. And so the pandemic, of course, if you're closed and you can't come in, but Drizly comes around, they say, hey, we're going to let people order from you and you specifically if they like your store or whatever, and then you can figure out getting it to them. Okay, that worked out. Then Drizly went as far as to do this integration software where people could, or actually through the app, people could order their liquor, their beer, to their liquor store, and it was going through to that liquor store, and then the liquor store took care of it. Now Uber bought it, and kind of like with Corner Shop, they did their thing with it for a little bit. Well, after 3 years, they just, not even 3 years, 2 months, or is it like a few months short of the 3 years they would own it, they just shut down Drizly. So what does that mean? It means that Drizly orders that the liquor store software now sends their orders through are going to Uber, and now they'll show up in the Uber Eats side of things, just like Corner Shop did and all that. It's just going to all be in one, but it still remains the problem that when it was Drizly, everybody that was an owner, maybe even of a liquor store or an employee, they are all either tip certified for service, or they are tip certified for packaged liquor. So they were all doing it legit. Now it's Uber pushing these orders through and saying, hey, you can deliver these here. Go ahead. But like always, and it's just the way of Uber, guys. They're not going to tell you, by the way, you need to have, because they love, we all know this, they love playing both sides of that independent contractor card as hard as they can. So on this side, they're saying, dude, you're an independent contractor. That's up to you to know your business. And I'm telling you here right now, if you've been delivering liquor, with the Drizly going down, I don't really know. We were all talking before we started about liquor licenses and how hard it is to acquire a new one. I mean, to me, it's like, yeah, they have the Drizly one, but that's to protect Uber, not the driver. So I don't know. To me, I won't do any booze. And you know me, you guys have worked in the bars for many years. I haven't done it, period, anyway. But now I think it's as sketchy as it's ever been. And I just wanted to put that out there because clearly Corner Shop was doing very well in Peru and up through South Central America. And Uber said, no, we're going to need that because we're going to be taking over the world here soon. Okay, so that happened. And so now they took Drizly for 1.1 billion. That's a lot. And now this is kind of wild, you guys. So since November, and it's been kept very hush hush, Uber is looking to purchase Instacart. So it's the 800-pound gorilla and a Maplebear. But so since November 8th, the CEO, what is his name? Fiji Simo or something. He's the CEO of Instacart and Maplebear, which owns Instacart, and they're in talks since the 8th. Things were paused, but they knew. But so there was an analyst that put out something about the merger of these two January 17th, yesterday, entitled, "What do an 800-pound gorilla and a Maplebear look like together?" So, which I found pretty interesting.
Really creative.
Yeah. But yeah, so now where was the price though? So who upgraded Instacart to outperform pure performance with $35 price target? Okay, so I think that's like where they're targeting, and I can't find it at the moment, but Instacart is offering them, or Uber's offering them $40 a share on what is just under 35 right now. So again, the reason all these tie together, Corner Shop, Drizly, what would be the logical thing if Uber buys Instacart?
Oh my God, they're going to shut them down for sure.
For sure. I mean, before the year ends even. Because we're so early in the year, they'll just end it.
Yeah.
Maybe,
and just redirect the traffic into Uber.
But this is what I don't get. So I don't know if you guys noticed. So the Bloomberg market share came out. What was it? 5 days ago, 6 days ago, something like that. Just because I was doing research for a video I was doing. And DoorDash is still 66% of the market share. I'm going to be honest. I thought Uber would have at least raised even the slightest bit just based off of them acquiring Corner Shop last year and all the other merchants they've been acquiring. They're still sitting in the 20s. So
but you're talking about food delivery space.
But if you looked at the Bloomberg report, they could not distinguish between food delivery and grocery delivery. So in the Bloomberg report, it's actually combined into one because they couldn't differentiate their sales between grocery and food delivery.
Really?
Did they say that for both platforms though? Because here's the thing, because like DoorDash kind of like I could see them go, whatever, dude, that's just, we don't care, that's just one number. But like with Uber, it is separated and that's public document. They should be able to. I don't know. I got to say that's just bad reporting because you can go find that exact number.
I'm just going by what I read.
No, I mean, and I hear you and I believe you. I'm just, and why I don't know. I mean, that is less market share than they had.
Right.
So DoorDash, I mean, they are losing market share.
No.
The only reason they're gaining is because Grubhub and some of the others have.
Actually, Grubhub gained, if I remember correctly, Grubhub gained last year. They were at 6%. They went to 8%. And then I know DoorDash was at 66%. And then Uber Eats was at 20-something.
The other thing is, what are you doing? Is this 22 to 23, right?
Yeah.
Year to year. So in 22, there was a ton more volume on all of them.
Yeah.